G'day guys, how are you, Chad?
G'day, Hazy.
Mate, first of all, can you give us an update on Charlie Dickson?
Yeah, well, I think the news is getting more and more positive day in, day out. It looks like surgery at this stage won't be required. When he initially did it, as you guys know, it looked quite serious. He was in a lot of pain, and the talk around it was it would require surgery and could be up to 3 months. So that was a little frightening to start with, but like I touched on, it's getting better and better every day. The swelling's gone down, and he's actually walking around on it pretty much pain-free at the moment. So if all that continues, he should avoid surgery and be out on the track. No, it's not me to say, but I would think around the 4-week mark.
That's massive news, mate. It must be a relief, not just for him, but I suppose for the coaching group and everyone involved.
Oh, we know how important he is to the way we play. He's a great on-field leader. The boys rally around him, and he does inspire them. So, yeah, like I said, I was right near the contest when he went down. He was in a lot of pain, and it didn't look great. So, for it to turn out the way it has, everyone did breathe a sigh of relief.
And Orazio, how's he going, and what does his recovery look like in terms of the confusion and everything with elective surgery?
Yeah, we obviously know that that's not really an option until around Feb 6 or 7, I think it is. But his plan is to go for a light jog on Wednesday, which again is a good sign. He's working really hard down in the gym at the moment, just building the quad strength up. And I had a chat to him this morning, and he said it was feeling pretty good. So if he gets through that little on-field jog Wednesday, we'll look to progress things from there.
So is it the same sort of situation as, was it last year, where he just sort of held off and waited to a certain point of the season, given that this would delay what he'd want to do now?
No, well, both the knees were looking really good when we returned from the long break in November. Just had a minor flare-up during training. The other knee has recovered really well, but this one isn't at the level that you would hope after what he went through in the off-season. So, like I said, it's not disastrous at this stage. He'll look to run Wednesday, and we'll know more after that and at the end of the week.
Can they any real doubt? Sorry, you go.
There you go.
Can they any real doubt of missing round one? We're 6 to 7 weeks out now. What's the real feel around them being available for round one?
I think it's a lot more positive than it was, a week or so ago. Like I said, Charlie, all things going well from here on in, he should be out on the track, with a month. So that put him in line for round one, I would think. And Orazio, there's still a bit more up in the air than Charlie is, but if he progresses well on Wednesday, like I touched on before, who knows what can happen from there. So, yeah, not sure about round one at this stage, but definitely both a possibility.
Chad, how are you finding, the first couple of months as the defensive coach for Port Adelaide?
It's been great, to be honest. Like, this was when I moved back from GWS. Being the backline coach was the dream job and the thing that I really wanted to aspire to. There's been 2 guys that have done it so well before me in Nathan Bassett and the job that Monty's done over the last couple of years. He's one of the better coaches I've ever seen in my time in footy. So I'm taking over a group that's been really well coached. They're an experienced group themselves. In terms of stats and all those kind of things, they're right up there at the top in the AFL. I've loved the way they've played over the last couple of years. So it is an honour to take over this role. And like I said, it was a dream when I first moved back.
Has there been maybe one player that you've just been really excited to work with in the back line?
Well, the one that I think a lot of our supporters are really excited about, he just didn't get a good run at last year, is Lockheed Jones. So he's had a full pre-season so far, and we know how powerful and explosive he is. He's worked really hard on just tidying up a few of his skills. So the way he's going, he's put himself right in line for a round one position. Tom Cleary's been really impressive. He's had a real point to prove from how things ended for him last year. So there is some really nice competition between the backline group itself. Sam Skinner's come in and he's showed some really impressive signs too. So I like that there's that competition within the group. Their training standard is really high. The competition against our forward line has been great and really competitive. So pretty excited about where the backline group in particular are placed right now.
On Sam Skinner, Chad, you said when you got picked up that you saw a lot of strong leadership qualities in him. Have you sort of seen him bringing that across the pre-season so far?
Yeah, even a drill we did today, which required the defenders to be really vocal and instruct the guys in front of them, which they always need to do, to be honest. But for a guy that's in his only second or third month, the leadership he shows on the track, how vocal and directive he is during drills, has been really impressive to see. And not only that, like his intercept marking ability is very high. So the Port fans should be pretty excited about a guy like that coming in, and he's also got a point to prove. He's really driven. He's had some really unlucky incidents with injury and whatnot, but we're lucky to have him.
And we saw him playing a fair bit of forward time last year in the sample. It's just going to be purely in the back line at the moment. Yeah,
well, at this stage, who knows what happens going forward, but all his training has been in the back line, and we expect that going forward.
Jade, speaking of players with a point to prove, Trent Demont is one of them. Many people were surprised that he was delisted last year. Tell us about his pre-season and what you've seen across the first 2 months.
Well, what struck me at the beginning was his aerobic ability. He was right up the front, with Ollie and Carl and Boki, even winning a couple of those, those time trials early pre-season. So that was impressive. Another one with great leadership qualities, really vocal on the field, and probably the thing that I love the most is how tough he is, and his attack on the ball and body is, they're the three things that I've really noticed that he's brought to our group in the first couple of months. So again, another that we're really lucky to have.
Chad, are there any changes
sorry, Nick, you go.
Thanks, Maxie. Hi, Chad. Is there any changes you want to sort of get your own imprint on the back line now that you're in there, or is it a case of it's been so rock solid the last few years, don't want to play around with it too much?
Well, you're right on how rock solid they've been and how well they have been performing over the last couple of years. So I'm not going to come in and change too much, and Kenny wasn't keen for that at all. But there is some things that we want to tinker with and improve. But I'm not going to tell you what they are just yet, Vic. Hopefully you'll notice that in the first few weeks of the year.
Excellent. And looks like you had really good numbers out there today. All the COVID issues are hopefully gone. I don't think there were anyone missing this morning.
Yeah, you're right. Coming off the 4-day break, it was great to see that we had a full squad out here, and even coaches. We had everyone available club-wide. So yeah, hopefully we can keep on top of this COVID issue, because it makes things a lot easier when you've got a full squad here to train with.
And just when you mentioned the slight tinkering, is that in terms of personnel or just game style that you want to tinker with?
Just a couple of things game style wise the back line are working on, and then like I mentioned at the start, personnel, the competition we have within the back line right now is great. I'm not sure if we had to pick a back 7 or 8 that playing round 1, that'd be a really hard thing to do right now. So hopefully that competition continues, which obviously drives high standards and high competition during training.
Jake, can you tell us about Ollie Wines' pre-season? Obviously, such a phenomenal season last year winning the Brownlow medal. Has he had to reset it all, or what's happened so he can go to another level and not have a lull after such a great year?
Well, his body has changed slightly. He's lost a little bit of weight. He naturally sits at over 100 kilos, which is quite heavy for a guy his height. But he's lost a bit of weight. His body looks great, and he's running even a step higher than he was last year in terms of his time trials and the output during drills. He's very driven, obviously. He's a very competitive guy, so having a new midfield coach in Brett Montgomery in there, Monty will give him some new challenges, some new things to work on. He's always looking to work on his kicking and skill level, but it looks like he's come back in great condition, and there's definitely been no lull or resting on your laurels from the year last year. He'll be looking to drive those standards again and go to another level.
Hey Chad, if you were picking your backline sort of 7 today, would it be too different personnel-wise to last year, or is it pretty hard to change that 7 for now, and others have to break in either through injury or something in the middle of the year?
If I had to do it right now, it would be very tough. I think there's probably 5 or 6 guys that pick themselves at this stage. that doesn't mean they'll be a lock going forward. But right now, I think they've deserved the chance to line up in round one. And there's definitely a couple of spots still up for grabs. So, like I said, that competition within a line group is great. I love the competition between them, and yeah, it's driving really high training standards, like I mentioned.
The other one I just want to ask on Kenny, we haven't actually seen or heard too much from Kenny this pre-season, and he hides on the other side of the oval where the cameras are. How is he? How's he going? What was his mood like around the place this year?
Oh, he's great, but this is a time of year where Kenny really trusts his assistant coaches, and it's a time it's given me a chance to get exposure out the front of the group in taking meetings and really developing myself that way. Something in a development role that I've had in the past, you're not getting out in front of the group and instructing the players and taking meetings and that type of stuff. So that's been great for me, great for my development. And it's a time where Monty and Bass are doing the same. So he does take a bit of a back seat this time of year and trust the other coaches around him. But that doesn't mean at times he won't come in when necessary and give the players a talking to, either negative or positive. But yeah, coming into game time, we'll see him ramp up and get more excited, that's for sure.
Joe, you're a bit of a tennis fan. Did you stay there last night till the death?
I wouldn't call myself a tennis fan, Vic. I didn't watch one point, to be honest. I think I was in bed asleep by 8 o'clock, so it sounded like a great match, but I didn't see any of it.